You're watching Around the World, our top global stories. First up, in a show of absolute power and exhibiting a rise that has seen him become China's most powerful leader in generations, Xi Jinping secured an unprecedented third term as president. And mind you, he won the polls unopposed. Xi Jinping secured the term during a parliamentary session where he tightened his control of the world's second largest economy amidst a COVID slump and diplomatic challenges. Nearly 3,000 members of China's rubber-stamped parliament, the National People's Congress, voted unanimously for the 69-year-old Xi Jinping. The vote, to be precise, was 2,952 to 0 in favor of Xi Jinping. But let's not forget, Xi Jinping had already set the stage for another term when he did away with presidential term limits back in the year 2018. And he has now become China's most powerful leader since Mao Zedong, the founder of the People's Republic. Xi Jinping has taken China on a more authoritarian path since assuming control a decade ago and has now extended his term for another 5 years. Now, the appointment also comes after Xi Jinping locked in another 5 years as head of the Communist Party of China and the military of China in the month of October last year, the two other significant leadership positions in China's politics. He made a pledge before the members in the Great People's Hall of China.
I pledge to be allegiant to the Constitution of the People's Republic of China, safeguard the Constitution's authority, fulfill my legal obligations, be loyal to the country and the people, be committed and honest in my duty, accept the people's supervision, and work for a great modern socialist country that is prosperous, strong, democratic, culturally advanced, harmonious, and beautiful. I, Xi Jinping, take this oath.
Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping's appointment comes amidst a slew of challenges for China. Rising tensions with the US and its allies over Taiwan, Beijing's backing of Russia amidst the Ukraine war, and trade and human rights issues are simmering as well. And domestically speaking, China faces a challenging recovery from the 3 years of Xi Jinping's zero COVID policy. Confidence is diminishing among consumers and businesses in China, whereas demand for China's exports has grown weak. The economy grew just 3% last year, its worst performance in decades. With a focus on economic revival, during the parliament session, the government set a modest growth target for this year of just around 5%. Meanwhile, Russia's President Vladimir Putin was among the first foreign leaders to congratulate Xi Jinping on his third term. The two only last year had sealed a no-limits partnership between China and Russia. But is a new leadership slate in the offing? During Friday's voting, Xi Jinping chatted with Premier-in-Waiting Li Keqiang, who is poised to be confirmed as China's second highest post holder and in charge of China's economy. Other Xi Jinping-approved officials are due to be elected or appointed over the weekend, including vice premiers, a central bank governor, and many other ministers and department heads. Moving on to the mass shooting in Hamburg in Germany. A Jehovah's Witnesses community building church in Germany's Hamburg was targeted in a horrific attack. The shooting killed at least 8 people. apparently including the perpetrator, leaving everybody in shock in the nearby areas. The shooting took place on Thursday evening in the Grossborstel district, just a few kilometers north of Hamburg's downtown area. The scene of the shooting was the Jehovah's Witnesses Kingdom Hall, a modern and boxy three-story building next door to an auto repair shop. The police were alerted at about 9:15 p.m. and were on the scene quickly. The officers found people with apparent gunshot wounds on the ground floor. They later heard a shot from an upper floor and found a fatally wounded person upstairs, who the police feel may have been the shooter. In a Twitter update in the early hours of Friday, the Hamburg police said that they believed there was only one shooter and gradually rolled back security forces from the area. Apart from the dead, an unspecified number of other people have been wounded, some of them seriously. Mobile phone footage recorded by residents nearby showed a perpetrator firing into the Jehovah's Witnesses building. Meanwhile, Germany's Chancellor Olaf Scholz, a former Hamburg mayor, described the shooting as a brutal act of violence. A nearby resident and eyewitness tried to gauge the number of bullets that were fired.
Digga, was?
There were also people being carried out, and they were probably 25 shots at least that I heard. And after the police got here, there was no gunfire for a long time. Then after 5 minutes or so, there was a single shot.
Jehovah's Witnesses are part of an international church founded in the United States of America in the 19th century with its headquarters in New York. It claims a worldwide membership of about 8.7 million, with about 1.7 lakh of those in Germany alone. Members are known for their evangelistic efforts that include knocking on doors and distributing literature in public squares. The denomination's distinctive practices include a refusal to bear arms, receive blood transfusions, salute a national flag, or participate in secular government. Meanwhile, police and forensics continued with their investigations into the shooting through the night. German police had cordoned off the building, and forensic scientists and police alike could be seen loading bags of evidence into cars even in the morning. But still, no word on a possible motive for the shooting that stunned Germany's second biggest city. Away from Hamburg in Germany, it was a massacre in Congo. 36 people were killed in an overnight attack on a village in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and most of them were hacked to death or burnt alive. Mukondi village in North Kivu in eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, approximately 30 kilometers southwest of Beni, was under attack in the middle of the night. The attack began at 7 p.m. when men with guns and machetes stormed the village and brutally started killing the villagers of Mukondi. Gun sounds created a chaos in the village and people started running helter-skelter. Everyone who came out of their house was either cut up with machetes or shot dead, according to the villagers. Many were burnt alive as well. Local officials believe that the assailants were members of the Allied Democratic Forces, or ADF, an Ugandan armed group based in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo that has pledged allegiance to the Islamic State and wages frequent deadly raids on villages. The ADF rebels are accused by the United Nations and rights groups for abducting civilians, including children. Earlier this month, the US had sanctioned $5 million as reward for providing any leads about ADF leader Seka Musa Baluku. Villagers dug up a large area for burying the dead in a mass grave. The local leader said that military assistance arrived late for the rescue operation. The Democratic Republic of Congo has been under constant conflict for decades. Around 120 militant groups are fighting for power, influence, and resources. Shifting focus to North Korea, where leader Kim Jong Un supervised a short-range artillery missile testing, this time with his daughter Kim Jong-a. According to North Korea's official news agency, the drill was aimed at, quote-unquote, striking the enemy's operation airport. Kim's daughter, Kim Ju-ae, has been seen in many such public events recently, and since the ballistic missile testings in November 2022 to the 75th North Korean Army anniversary last month, she was seen everywhere beside her father. And her frequent presence has recently sparked a debate that Kim Jong Un is presenting her as a successor. Meanwhile, heightened tensions between the two Korean nations are at the worst point in decades. North Korea has doubled down on its military training and weapon testing after 2019. After testing more than 70 missiles last year, it is all set for another barrage of testings for more short as well as long-range missiles this year. And the latest short-range missile test was conducted in response, apparently, to the largest US-South Korea joint drill to be organized from the 13th of March. Around a month ago, South Korea kick-started air drills with the US. From the beginning of February, the US and South Korea have also started combat training in a full-fledged manner through joint military drills, and now they will be organizing the largest joint military air drills in the past 5 years. Beginning on the 13th of March, it will be scheduled for 10 consecutive days, and this joint exercise is being called Freedom Shield. The air drill will be featuring a nuclear-capable US B-52 heavy bomber. 3 weeks ago, North Korean ballistic missiles landed on Japanese waters, increasing the threat for Japan as well. Under the leadership of President Yoon Suk-yeol, South Korea, with the support of the US, has now strengthened surveillance of North Korean military activities. South Korea has been boosting its diplomatic ties and security cooperation with Washington and Tokyo in response to growing threats from Pyongyang. And finally, 2 days to go for the 95th Academy Awards or Oscar Awards, and luxury fashion house Versace brought their Fall-Winter 2023 collection to Los Angeles on Oscars Eve. Versace presented the voguish man and women collection with long coats, boots and leather jackets, all in solid colors. For the ladies, there were dresses and some very elegant cohort sets as well. And it was a star-studded evening. Heavyweights from music, film and TV were all out on the event's carpet. Dua Lipa, Pamela Anderson, Elton John, Lil Nas X and Anne Hathaway were there, and so was the Oscar-nominated actor Ke Huy Quan. But before we take you away from all of that, we are going to leave you with the golden statuettes. Yes, the preparations are underway for the Oscars, and the final touch-ups are being given to these shining beauties that will be on display on the red carpet come awards night. And that's all we have time for in this edition of Around the World. Thank you so much for watching. Keep it with News 9+.